Welcome, beloved Sangha, to our Dharma talk on Sunday, May 30th, with our Venerable Khenpo Tenzin. We will begin today's talk with opening prayers in our Yellow Garchen Institute prayer book on page 4 and page 5. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Tamkwe tuje jere sonro jenjamata doja ponjamba sarjalamba tawra jibek shakja pasha dangozans dorjin janjen dello naro ta marpa mala chuje gambo pa pamodra pa jawan dogong ba kajula mananje dajong she dana sara tamje do lamala pala jesuzo La son yon din jam zang ala wang, din de don jin de be ge le zor da ge lo chu son ro war sin ja lab de zor chu lam den ro war jin ja lab de lam tro wa se war jin ja lab de zor tro wa yi shi zon ja war jin ja lab de zor many days delay there my friends. Today I will introduce in illustration that shows the process of shamatha with this picture. Actually, it shows us the method. If we follow this method, then this will help us to easily establish shamatha. We will not need to spend much time for establishing shamatha if we follow these instructions exactly. If we don't follow instructions exactly, then it's quite difficult to establish shamatha meditation. So instruction is very important, especially for meditation. For example, actually I shared this story few times, but still I would like to share now. So when Buddha was alive, there was a student whose name was Sharona, he asked Ananda how to meditate, and Ananda taught him, but his meditation not go so well. Then Ananda asked the Buddha about Sharona's difficulties. Then the Buddha asked Sharona if he was skilled at playing the guitar. Sharona says yes. Then the Buddha asked when the strings are very tight, is the sound good? Sharona said no. The strings will break. It's true, right? Then the Buddha asked again, when the strings are very loose, can you make a good sound? Sharona said no. Then there's no sound. The Buddha replied that it is the same when you meditate. Don't be too tight nor too loose. You should meditate in this manner. Then Sharona meditated as Buddha instructed, and he attained great samadhi. So that's where the instruction, follow instructions is very important. We all so exciting to accomplish or establish shamatha, but so that's why we have to follow with this picture. So first I will introduce these animals in the drawing. So there is a monk who represents you. Monk. Yeah, there's monk and a monkey. If I make mixed them, then you punish me. You can punish me. So this monk is you, because you are a meditator. So his left hand holds a lasso. Lasso in the Tibetan says lasso is like a yes sir or yes madam, right? Madam, like that. But it's a little different. But sound is very similar. So that's where lasso I never forget because I know lasso. And then this represents mindfulness. This lasso represents mindfulness. This monk is a meditator, so that's why I said this is you. And then he holds in his right hand a hook. This represents attentiveness. So mindfulness and attentiveness is very important. Then there is a elephant. The elephant represents what? Elephant represents your mind. So usually monk and elephant different, but now we have to know through this way. So monk represents you or meditator, and elephant represents your mind. And these elephants black color represents drollness. So these yeah, then there is a monkey. This is not monk, this is a monkey. This monkey represents being scattered, our mind scattered. uh, these monkeys black color, so we go up this way. Okay, go up. No, so this monkey's black color symbolize agitation. uh, then there is a rabbit, a black rabbit. It also represents drollness, but this is subtle drollness. Then there are 5 sense objects, like smell, sound, taste, touch, and then form, right? Our mind is scattered on these objects. Up until near the end, the meditator's mind is for sure distracted by forms. That's where there is the image of a mirror. It means our mind is scattered by forms. That's why we have closed our eyes when we practice shamatha, because we lose our mindfulness to forms. We see different colors and so on. This is represented by the mirror. Then there are a pair of symbols. These represent sound. Because we lose our meditation to different sounds. Then there is a conch. Inside has substances which have a good smell. These represent our losing our meditation to smells. Next is the image of some fruits, which represents being distracted by taste. Then last are some nice clothes, which are represent our losing our meditation to touch. So these 5 sense of objects are, we come up to down. Mirror is up, and then this the 2 pair of symbolisms and symbolists and so on. It's up to come down. But then the elephant and monkeys, we how to say, down to up, or from lower to, yes, lower to higher. Our mind is like our mind is like our mind is like a flock of birds, And these five sense objects are like a stone thrown into the center of the flock. They all scatter. Mm. So when we see forms, we see heard sounds, we smells, touching kind of these objects mm, connect with our mind, and then our mind scattered that. Then there are the five obstacles when we meditate shamatha. Five obstacles, which are laziness, forgetting instructions, dullness, and agitation, not applying the antidote. For example, mindfulness and attentiveness, and continuing to process and analyze when our mind meditation is stable. These five are obstacles of shamatha meditation. Uh, but they have antidotes. Uh, the antidote to laziness is faith, uh, aspiration, diligence, and cleansing. Uh, these four help remove laziness. Then forgetting instructions is corrected by mindfulness. Then third rule and agitated mind. Mind's antidote is attentiveness. Then fourth, when one has lost one's meditation and doesn't try to regain it, uh, the remedy for this is utilizing antidotes. And then fifth, when your meditation remains continuously, but still you over analyze and use some antidote which interrupt. The solution to this is equanimity. Equanimity means you uh, mm, tranquilly rest. Mm. So there are eight antidotes to these five faults, which are called the eight kinds of attentiveness. Actually, mm. Then there are six curves. Six curves in the path of illustration. These represent the six powers. The first curve is the power of listening. This is not thinking about this method by yourself. You listen and then follow it instructions. It helps you understand how to meditate the first time. The second curve is power of reflection. That means not only you listen, you reflect by yourself. And then the third curve is the power of mindfulness. mindfulness is your maintaining this practice. And then fourth curve is the power of attentiveness. The mindfulness and attentiveness, they are during the shamatha practice. This is very important to understand. During the shamatha practice, especially the first shamatha practitioners, mindfulness and attentiveness are different. They are separate. But in reality, our mind is like a candlelight. Our mind is like a candlelight, and shamatha means this candlelight stable. It not moved by different winds and so on. That part we call shamatha. Or sorry, mindfulness. Mindfulness. Attentiveness means this candlelight has a light. That part we call the attentiveness. So these three things very important. Even when your meditation increase in the vipassana, and then it will increase in the mahamudara, especially non-meditation. At that time, your attentiveness, mindfulness, non-meditation, they are non-duality or indivisible. So, but right now we have to utilize them separately. It will help us more than we practice all together. So, and then the fifth curve is the power of diligence. The diligence is very important. If we have to accomplish mundane activities, it is depending very much related diligence, and of course for practicing dharma, and then without diligence we cannot gain our result. And so this fifth curve is the power of diligence. Then the sixth curve is actually what we call the power of familiarizations. Familiarization. Then, as the monk progresses along the path of the six curves, there are fires. Did you see? There are small fires in each steps of curves. Mm, so there are fires next to the path. Some of them are big fires. Some of them are small. These represents the intensity of your attentiveness. So how strong it needs to be. But the final fire, the big flames at the top of the image represent vipassana. So it is wisdom. So actually, attentiveness transforms into vipassana. So this monk is a meditator. He holds the hook and lasso in his hands. They represent his mindfulness and attentiveness. So this is mindfulness. Without mindfulness, without attentiveness, then we have no way to meditate shamatha. So this is very important. And then before the first curve, The first curve, this monkey leads the elephant. Not monk, okay, monkey. This monkey leads the elephant. The elephant follows the monkey, while this elephant represents a mind. His black color represents dullness, and when the mind has dullness, it is scattered. So the monk goes after them and tries to catch them with his lasso and his hook. Among the nine stages of shamatha, this is the first stage, stilling the mind. This means that the monk thinks, oh, now I'm going to meditate. So that means he started to turn his mind inward. He is starting to collect his scattered mind inside. This is largely due to the strength of the first power, which is listening, because it is through listening to instructions that we learn to place our attention on the subject. Then, after the first curve, still the monk can't catch the elephant. That means his mind ran away. Our mind runs away. We cannot meditate well. So the elephant is still led by the monkey. But on his head, there is a small drop of white color, where the black of dullness has been cleared away. This means the monk has gained a little experience. For example, for us, that would mean when we meditate in shamatha, we can remain for around 5 minutes or without thoughts interrupting. We have a little bit of clarity. So the little bit of white represents clarity. This stage is the second stage of shamatha. Continuous settling, right? Settling. Yes, settling. This means the monk still chases after the elephant and the monkey and tries to catch them. This means he is continuously settling. He continuously tries to calm down and meditate. In order to do this, he relies on the power of reflection. It is through reflecting that he repeatedly employs the instructions and places his attention on the object. Then, as they pass the second curve, the monk's lasso catches the elephant. So he separates the elephant and the monkey. At that time, he can't draw the elephant's attention, and and this is actually the stage of settling the mind. Uh, the head of the elephant is white no. Uh, as the white increase, it signifies meditative stability increasing. This means the monk can remain in shamatha a little bit more. This is the third stage of shamatha, repeated settling. But still, the elephant's body is black. This means that, except for a small part, the monk's mind is in dullness. And now, on top of the elephant, reeds a rabbit. The top of his head is also white color, and the rest of his body is black. The monk can now notice when small subtle dullness arises. He is aware of it a little bit, but no more than a little bit. So the rabbit, which is only a little wide, represent this. When they reach the third curve, the monkey is still in front of the elephant, but his upper body is a little wide. This means the monk can notice his agitation. He understands the agitation is an obstacle of meditation. Also, here the elephant turns his head completely towards the monk, and almost half of his upper body is white. The rabbit is also almost half white. This means the monk can tame more of his mind. Among the 9 stage of shamatha, this is fourth. The fourth is called close settling. To progress through third and fourth stages of shamatha, we rely on the third power, mindfulness. Through mindfulness, we notice when we are distracted and consistently return our attention to the object until we are almost unified with it. Then, after they pass the third curve, the monk can utilize his mindfulness and attentiveness both for meditation. That's why he holds the lasso that is around the elephant's neck, and has the hook around the elephant's ear, and comes in front of the elephant. Still, the monkey is behind them and tries to pull the elephant back by his tail. Agitation is complicated, right? This monk meditates but still agitation. Agitation tries to pull out our mind. So, so agitation is still interrupts, uh, and the quiet rabbit still represents the presence of subtle dullness. Actually, subtle dullness is a very difficult to notice, uh, very difficult to aware. Gross dullness is quite easy to understand. Uh, but half of all three of their bodies are completely white. That means the monk can stay longer in meditation. Uh, he has further mm, tame his mind. This part of the image represents the fifth stage of Shamatha discipline. This stage is strongly supported by power of attentiveness. Okay, usually means that here also related. Actually, mindfulness keeps our mind inwardly. Attentiveness prevents the outer obstacles. Don't let come inside. So they have different responsibilities during the shamatha practice. Here, the monk's mindfulness has grown, so his power of attentiveness is also greater, just like a large candle flame will radiate brighter light. This attentiveness does not allow thoughts and afflictive emotions to disrupt mindful meditation. In this way, one can progress through fifth and sixth stage of shamatha. Actually, the ninth stage is I introduced a very how to say very details. We already discussed on there, so that's why here I just introduce you briefly. Hopefully you will understand. Hopefully your mindfulness work well. uh, Also, the monkey taking fruit from the tree represents that when you practice shamatha, if your mind is scattered towards virtues, you still don't want to allow it to do that because you want to remain tranquilly in meditation. So you must stop doing that. But in some case, you allow yourself to do it for the sake of benefiting others and yourself. Uh, you have to carry these fruit, which means you need other virtues too, like compassion and bodhicitta. And then, as they approach the fourth curve, the monk leads the elephant and no longer use his hook. This means he doesn't particularly utilize his attentiveness because his mindfulness is very stable. Then the um, elephant follows the monk. He is not separated from him because of the lasso, which is mindfulness. Mindfulness and meditation have a relationship here. So this part among the 9 stages of shamatha is pacifying, which is the 6th stage. Then, as they pass the 4th curve, there is no monkey and no rabbit. This means that the no monkey, no rabbit. Where they goes, there go. Where they went. They went. That means your agitation also become the object of meditation. Your dullness become object of meditation. So that's where they are not separate from your mind. And so in this case, someone who reached on this part, they thought they reached Mahamudra or Dzogchen. So it seems a little similar experience. So, but of course, still have to progress there. And so the monkeys, no monkey, no rabbit. This means that the monk who meditates has gained complete freedom from subtle dullness and also agitation. The monkey leaving the elephant symbolizes agitation, losing its power before it arises completely. And also the elephant, except for his legs and tail, has become weight. This means the monk's mindfulness and shamatha are going very well. And then the monk can go behind the elephant, and the elephant can still walk peacefully in front of him. This is thoroughly pacifying the 7th stage of shamatha. Shamatha has 9 stages. So in this case, you reached on 7th stage of shamatha. Then as they approach the 5th curve, the elephant is completely weight. The monk walks freely, and the elephant follows the monk without the monk needing to use a hook and a lasso. At that time, the monk has reached the 8th stage, one-pointedness. At this point, this is also very important. When you reach on the 8th stage, one-pointedness, at this point, if you only slightly utilize mindfulness and attentiveness, agitation and dullness cannot interrupt your meditation, and your samadhi of shamatha goes continuously like a river. For this stage, also the 7th stage, the power of discipline is very important. When subtle thoughts and afflictions arise, at this stage, you need to make effort with discipline to purify them. So they cannot interrupt your shamatha meditation. And then next, on the 5th curve, we have 6 curves, right? So 5th curve, the elephant and the monk both relax. There is no monkey. Their monk and elephant both relax. In the rainbow path and the white color path between there, they both sit down, right? This is the ninth stage of settling in equipoise. For this stage, utilize the power of familiarization, because it is through the power of familiarization that we come to rest effortlessly in samadhi. So in this case, very possible you will remain there many years. In the some practical Buddhas and someone, they in some scientists found their bones. They say 300 years, 500 years. They still stay in the meditation. How to say the post meditation posture, right? Posture. So kind of this. So, they can remain for long. So our normal practitioners, if we reached on this shamatha, it's a very we can remain very long, and we are have very enthusiasm to remain continuously, because there's lots of happiness, lots of joys. But our goal is, in the Mahayana tradition, our goal is to become enlightened. That's why still we have to keep going continuously, go forward. Then this monk sits on the elephant. This means he has completely accomplished shamatha. From here, the road turns into a rainbow. In the Mahayana tradition, when vipassana arises in the mind, one will start to reach the first bhumi. And once you have reached the first bhumi, you have attained the path of seeing. His body has turned to the Dharma freely. He has completely accomplished this, which means he can fly if he need it. If need it. So in this picture, he flies. The very top of this picture, he flies, right? Also, he completely rests on the elephant, which means he has thoroughly tamed his mind, and he can effortlessly enjoy the peaceful shamatha, peaceful samadhi of shamatha. The elephant can go on the path by itself, which represents the monk's freedom in the meditation of shamatha. His mind has turned towards Dharma freely, so he can use his mindfulness meditation. And then the monk sits on the elephant and holds a knife or sword, very true, on the rainbow path. This represents his first attainment of vipassana. So he holds the knife. This represents the intrinsic awareness or wisdom. So then he reached on the vipassana, and then this monk have to continuously progress vipassana meditation. So this the illustrate path to shamatha is very helpful in the future you keep this picture in your room in front of your uh, bed or your chair, and then you often uh, uh, watch this picture, and of course you don't have much time to meditate completely because sometimes you well busy, but you do like that. Okay, it is same like we it's a daily practice. uh, Today I'm going to start from this the this monk follow elephant kind of this part. So you start to meditate on mindfulness, and you remember this oh the elephant is a represent of my mind, and right now my mind is covered by the dullness. That's where I'm very easy to lose dharma mind, because if there is some object of desire, our desire arise. If there is some object of anger emotion, object of jealousy, object of the pride, then we are ready. So that means basically our mind is covered by ignorance. So uh, but this ignorance is a very temporary, very temporary. So we can remove it if we make effort. So our Buddha nature is spontaneously and joyfully uh, relax in our mind. So we are going to recognize our Buddha nature. When we recognize our Buddha nature, then we reach the stage of Buddha. So then we can make a great benefit for mother sentient beings, uh, and then we can also uh, avoid the lower realms and six realms. So that's where this is. Uh, Now we, if we process or we practice on there, then we have really great opportunities. So uh, we all, I think, the same wish. We would like to uh, meditate shamatha, vipassana, and then other visualizations, of course. So we try to follow these instructions step by step, uh, and then our uh, result is not so far from us. So if we gain experience of shamatha, it's really gorgeous, especially in this samsara. Uh, we have clothes, food, and lots of facilities. Outwardly, we have lots of facilities. Inwardly, still lots of sufferings. So, through practice of shamatha, it avoids many sufferings. So, uh, mm, that's where we try to gain the stages of shamatha. So, in brief, shamatha has 9 stages, and it has 5 folds or 5 obstacles. These 5 obstacles are including two obstacles, which are agitation and dullness. And then these five faults has eight antidotes, which are which they are including two, which are mindfulness and attentiveness. So, mindfulness and attentiveness, these two things are like over two eyes to see the things. So, if we are going to meditate shamatha, then these uh, mindfulness and attentiveness are very important. If we are going to walk, these two legs are very important. Similarly, if we are going to the uh, next stages of shamatha, then attentiveness and mindfulness are very important. So, uh, attentiveness can see the uh, agitation, and attentiveness can see the dullness, and mindfulness helps us to remain our mind peacefully, tranquilly, and happily, joyfully. That's why we are going to practice that. And that's all. Hopefully, it clear, pretty much clear. And of course, if something unclear part, then we will continuously discuss. And then thank you very much for John. And then sometimes we will meditate on there, and then now we will uh, dedicate. Page 31. Emma ho ngom tsar sanje na wan da ye da ye su ju wo tu je chen po da yon de zhen ban de je do na la san je jiang san ba me gor je gor de je ngom tsar ba de me ba ye de wo jin shi jia wei xian kam de da yin den ne zun bu jir ma da jie wa yin jie par ma ju pa re de re jin ne nan de zhan dong shu de ge da ge mo lan da pa yi cho ju san jie jiang sen tan jie jie ge min zhe par jin jie lab de sor Daya ta panzan jaya wang bodha na ye so wa.
Emaho. In the center is the wondrous Buddha of boundless light. To his right is Chenrezig, the Lord of great compassion, and to his left is Vajrapani, the Bodhisattva of great might. They are surrounded by an inconceivable assembly of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Immeasurable peace and happiness is the pure land of great bliss. When I and all beings pass from this life, may we be born in that land, unhindered by another samsaric birth. And may we then behold the face of Amitabha, boundless light. May all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions bless this aspiration, that it may be accomplished without hindrance. Tadyata Panchagriya Avabodhaniya Swaha.
Chancho senjo rambo che ma che ba nam je jer che ba nyam ba me ba yang gong de pe wa shuo. Thank you very much.